As the fog rolled through the towering pines of the Oregon forest, Ivy Reynolds stepped out of her rented car. The crisp mountain air bit at her skin, filling her lungs with a much-needed chill.
I need this escape, she thought, feeling the weight of her recent breakup with John still pressing on her heart.
The isolation of the cabin ahead beckoned, a refuge from the chaos of her life. The cabin stood weathered yet inviting, its peeling paint and creaky porch suggesting years of stories untold. Ivy approached, each step echoing in the silence that enveloped her.
Just me and the quiet, she whispered, opening the door to reveal a cozy space filled with sunlight.
Setting her bags down, she breathed in the scent of aged wood, hoping to find solace. But as night fell, the wind began to howl, sending chills through the air. Ivy wrapped herself in a blanket by the fireplace, trying to shake off the creeping unease. Suddenly, a loud knock shattered the silence. Her heart raced.
Who could that be?
Hesitation gripped her as she glanced at the door. Another knock, insistent and urgent. Ivy swallowed hard, fear and curiosity battling within her. With trembling hands, she opened the door. Standing there was a man, soaked to the bone, his dark hair plastered to his forehead. His icy blue eyes locked onto hers, filled with desperation.
"Please, I need your help," he rasped, his voice barely audible over the howling wind.
Blood dripped from his side, pooling on the porch.
You're hurt! Ivy exclaimed, instinctively stepping aside to let him in.
He stumbled inside, leaning heavily against the wall. Ivy grabbed a towel, pressing it against his wound.
What happened? She asked, her heart racing.
"They're coming," he whispered, eyes darting toward the windows as if expecting shadows to materialize.
Who? She pressed, panic rising within her.
He hesitated, the weight of his words hanging between them.
"I can't explain now. Just know that you're in danger."
Despite the fear coursing through her, Ivy felt a strange pull toward him.
I'm Ivy, she said softly.
"Caleb," he replied, his name a whispered promise.
As Ivy tended to his wound, their hands brushed, igniting an unexpected spark. Hours passed, and Caleb stirred, finally waking from his fevered sleep.
"You saved my life," he said, gratitude shining in his eyes.
You were bleeding on my porch, she replied, trying to ease the tension.
They began to share stories, laughter echoing in the small cabin. Ivy felt herself opening up in a way she hadn't in years.
"We all have battles to fight," Caleb said, his gaze intense. "But it helps to share them."
As days passed, their bond deepened, filled with stolen glances and lingering touches. Ivy felt alive again, warmth blossoming in her chest every time Caleb was near. One evening as they sat by the fire, Ivy sensed Caleb's turmoil.
What's really going on with you? She asked, concern lacing her voice.
Caleb's expression shifted, revealing vulnerability. "I've lost people because of my past. I can't lose you too."
You won't lose me. I'm here, she vowed, intertwining their fingers.
Their eyes locked, the weight of their feelings hanging in the air. But before they could share a kiss, a loud crash jolted them from their moment.
"They found me!" Caleb shouted. "You need to hide!"
No, I'm not leaving you, Ivy insisted, heart racing.
As shadows crept into the cabin, Caleb stepped protectively in front of her.
"Get out of here," he commanded.
In the chaos, Caleb was struck down. Ivy rushed to his side, cradling his head in her lap.
No, please don't leave me, she cried, tears streaming down her face.
Caleb looked up at her, breath ragged. "You are my light," he whispered, his eyes fluttering closed.
Days later, Ivy stood alone in the cabin, surrounded by echoes of laughter.
You taught me to love again, she murmured, grief consuming her.
Placing flowers at the cabin's entrance, she whispered,
I'll carry your memory with me.
With a heavy heart, she turned away, determination mingling with sorrow as the storm raged outside.